Hey there. So I am going to talk about two Swedish drill programs that are out there on the market for like the Charlotte Mason Swedish drill that I have come across. There might be more, but two that I have seen are Swedish Drill Revisited, the expanded edition from Duran, and then the Charlotte Mason PE, and they put theirs out through a Delectable Education's platform. I'm sure they might do it on their own as well, but I don't know that for certain. So here we go. Let me pull that up. So here's the other one. Okay, so both of these programs have multiple parts. The Swedish Drill Revisited, we used 1 and 2 off of Dawn Duran's program and started on 3. But my kids were not really getting the marching portion, which is pretty much most of this. So Dawn's things are, some people have a lot harder time with them. We did not until this part, but the task of marching was rough. So she has some information in here like why is valuable, how to do certain moves, teaching certain postures and things like that. And then she has, so she goes through like, how are you going to do this task? And so we would do each task and kind of teach the different parts. And then she has suggested lesson plans. And you follow the lesson plans, obviously. So like address tasks 1 through 4, address these tasks, so on and so forth. And we tried to work through that. It did not go the best. Okay. The other thing she does have is pictures of how things are done right and wrong. And then she has a little QR code on to watch each move if you need more help there. And then she has these blurbs that tell you how to perform the move. So each move is like attention. So you should know how to put your arms down. Wings standing, that's kind of lifting your arms into like chicken wings. Hips firm, and that's holding it there. Toes support, placing sideways. This thing, that thing. So it's walking you into the move so that by the end you are doing it correctly. So this one has like I said, it's got a lot of different parts into it. So I would definitely, when you download it, read through the whole thing because there is so much to it. This is $35 for this one. She also has on here, like, here's a routine you're going to do. And then when you have a script for the routine. So you just run through the script and the student would do what you are telling them as you go through. So that is Dawn Duran's. Then you have Charlotte Mason PE, which I just purchased. Like I said, that one is $30 on the ADE site. However, it comes with, there are 3 different years. The first year is 30, the second year is 25, and the third year is 20. Dawn Duran's are $34.99 for each year, and it goes year 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I believe 5. Not year, but drill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you would work your way through that. Anyways, so there are drill lessons in here, but there are other items in here in this. I'm going to figure out how to do this best. Okay, so they have on here a table, and then they have a lesson and the commands that you're going to give for the lesson. And on the other side, they have the exercises and QR codes for videos for the student. And so you would go through the tables, and then obviously that correlates to a lesson, and the lessons give you the commands. And you have so many lessons per term, and you would go through, and this has it laid out for 3 terms. But then, oh, this is geography. That's not what I wanted. That is not helpful. Okay. Then the other parts of this that they have, so this looks very similar, but is laid out a lot simpler. Like, this was not hard for me to pick up and go, oh, this is what we're doing today. These are the commands. Here's the video. Boom, boom, boom. This is the exact thing I need to do for a lesson. Whereas Dawn's originally was like, okay, it's this move. And then she has cards you can use to put things in an order. And it gets to be a lot of pieces. So this is a lot more streamlined, the Charlotte Mason PE. Okay. Then this one has skill ideas. Like, they have things for locomotor movements. They have teaching the basics of jump rope and tricks to do, long rope, rolling, balance and weight transfer. And then Dalcroze, I don't know what that is. But it is a man named, it was developed by a man named Emile Jacques Dalcroze, but is simply referred to as Dalcroze. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Anyways, they're kind of like yoga movements, is my understanding, but they are like movements set to music. Okay. Throwing, catching, all like skills that the kids could learn. And then in each of these, they have a table laid out. So it says, here's your recommended forecast for term 1. So it has, here's the table lesson you're going to do. Here's an activity you're going to do, and so on and so forth. And then the other piece that they had was games. And so they have different game ideas for you, for small groups, for large groups, musical games, all that kind of thing. And they have suggestions on where to find certain ones or whatever if you don't know, like musical games or things like that. So this lesson is, like I said, much more straightforward. And so I could see why people have a hard time using the Swedish drill. And I could see how it could be off-putting to use Duran's with all the different parts. Because, like I said, if you look at, like, even just the table of contents. Okay, so you've got the introduction, the marching, which is the part 2, which is the tasks that you're teaching. And then part 3 is finally where you get the lesson plans. So after you have all the things that you're going to read about on your own as the teacher so that you know how to teach it. And then the suggested lesson plans where you're going to implement it. And then a routine sample where you could show them that. But then she has this script for implementing these cheat sheets, the sample lesson plans, the references, the audio files, the flashcards. Like, it's a lot of stuff. I don't know that it's all necessary is the other part. And so if I was going to start day 1, would I choose to buy the Charlotte Mason PE or the Swedish drill from Duran? I would choose this one. It's $5 cheaper, and then $10 cheaper the next year, and another $15 cheaper the third year. So I would buy this one. However, if I was part of the CMEC and I only had this, because it comes as part of your purchase of the CMEC, would I go with this? Yeah, I would try and make this work. If I can't make this work, then I would just go and buy this. What's it going to hurt? Just like any other resource. If you buy a bundle of something and it includes this, why would you not try and make this work? However, if you can't make this work, go find a different resource that is going to work. And I think this one will work very easily without having tried it yet, but there is a lot of practicing the marching as part of this instead of the whole third year being about the marching, which was starting to become a sore point of drill. My kids loved year 1 and year 2 of Duran's. And then when we got to year 3, and it's like this marching, and we're trying to do this marching, and nobody can march because my kids can't keep a beat, it becomes really difficult versus like this one where it's incorporated in, it becomes a lot more like it's just a part of the day. It's not the whole, or it's not the whole exercise time. It's just part of it. And so I think that's going to really help. Plus, I really have wanted to do some of these skill-based things with my kids, like cartwheels and jump rope. And could I just figure that out on my own? I'm sure I could. Have I? No. So if it's included in a lesson, because that's part of Charlotte Mason, is jumping, catching, all of that is part of the PE, and it's included in this packet, I know I'm going to most likely do this. Because when I have a forecasting tool and I put it down, I tend to do it fairly well if I'm not totally bogged down. So like I said, I think this would be my go-to if I had to choose and I was paying for either of them. I would buy this one. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful. If you have a different Swedish drill thing that you've liked, put it in the comments for other people to explore. These are just the 2 I've done. So, all right, hope that's helpful. Bye-bye.